Hey, Matt here again, making another GG or WSOP.CA video. I had a few people tell me I was calculating the GG rake wrong in my last video. If true, I kind of felt like an idiot, but at the same time, I would have been happy that GG is offering competitive rake. However, I don't actually think that's the case, and the rake, unfortunately, is as high as I estimated. Let me explain. In Hold'em Manager 3, you see there's 3 rake types here, and then there's the rake in big blinds per 100. The rake in big blinds per 100 is this rake number, which is the rake contributed, not rake attributed. There's actually 2 ways to calculate rake. Rake attributed is the total amount of rake that you pay when you win the pot, and the rake contributed is proportional to how much you put in the pot. Now, rake contributed is the most popular because that's generally how most sites do their rake back. Unfortunately, GG doesn't actually tell me what method they use. They just tell me that the person who wins the pot pays the rake. So that would make me think that they're actually using the rake attributed model. What you'll also notice is if you add up my fish buffet rewards, so this is what I'm supposed to get so far this week, and then if we look at what I've already gotten. Now, again, remember, I'm supposed to be getting roughly 50% cash back. And if we divide that by the rake attributed, you'll see that it's actually almost 50%. And you could maybe explain that away by either the tracker being wrong, maybe there's some PVI, or what some other people said was potentially the bad beat jackpot. So when I saw this, I was actually quite concerned, and you could actually see if you copy the hand histories. Let me just open up a notepad. You'll see the hand histories are in USD, even though it's technically in CAD, because if you look this let's go to this. This will be easier to show you. You see how it says I won 152.72 big blinds, and it shows, 1,527. So even though it's in USD, it's actually in CAD, which is what we play. But I thought maybe this could explain the difference. Maybe this was trying to convert this rake attributed into USD. When you look at the conversion, it actually is pretty close. So I'm thinking, wow, this rake is completely wrong. It's converting it to USD, and GG actually has a lot lower rake than I anticipated. Not only that, what made it even more weird is if you look at my party poker month, you could see that the rake attributed is really close to the rake contributed. There's not much of a difference here. And on PokerStars, it's the same thing. There's not much difference here. Now the rake game changes, but not the rake attributed and the rake contributed. And you can see that the PokerStars hand histories, if we copy this, these hand histories are in CAD. The party poker one, however, is in USD, but it doesn't seem to be causing issues. So that was a little bit weird. But now let's actually compare it to Poker Tracker 4. Party poker is up first. You see that the rake attributed is actually identical. The rake contributed is fairly close. PokerStars, my numbers are off a little bit. I think I didn't download all this month's hands, but regardless, again, the numbers are pretty close, assuming, an extra 1K hands. And last but not least, we have GG Poker. And again, the numbers are lower, but what's interesting is the rate contributed on PT4 is totally different than the rate contributed in Hold'em Manager 3. After seeing all this, I'm thinking to myself, wow, I have to make an apology video. I have to potentially take down the video that I posted the other day. I was completely wrong about GG and WSOP. All the shit that I talked about them for months and months and months was completely wrong based off of this Rake stat in Hold'em Manager 3. There was only one thing I could do to confirm if my fears were true. And that was to compare it to PokerCraft, because we know that PokerCraft does not show Rake. So what we could do is we can see how much I won in the tracker, how much I won in PokerCraft. We can subtract the numbers, and that'll give us how much Rake we paid. And if it's this Rake attributed, then we know that I was completely wrong. But if it was this number, then I was actually right. So let's do that right now. So we have Rake attributed, which is 721, and we have Rake contributed in PT4, which is 1040. You can see in PokerCraft, it's about 1480 hands, so we know that we have the same date. This is how much money I won. And if we subtract that by what we're seeing in the tracker, which is 3029, you can see 3029 is correct there. You can see that we have a difference of 964. So what this means is that this Rake attributed number isn't actually correct. It's likely closer to this Rake number. Now, I asked Hold'em Manager 3 support if this Rake number is like where's the difference here? Is it that the Rake's just that high? Is it converting it? Like I wasn't sure what was going on. Why is that number higher? And somebody said something in the Discord, and there's the bad beat jackpot. And I didn't even think about that. And what's interesting is in Poker Tracker 4, you can actually download a custom stat that'll show you how much the bad beat jackpot is. So if we slide this over, you'll see that the bad beat jackpot was not calculated in this Rake contributed or Rake attributed. And when you do the math, we're off by a penny. So what this shows me is that this Rake attributed stat is correct. There's something going on here that's wrong. Maybe in Hold'em Manager 3, it's already calculating the bad beat jackpot. I'm not entirely sure. But what we can say for certain is that the Rake is actually close to being this high. And we know that because of the numbers here. And what's actually even gross to think about is how much is this bad beat jackpot actually worth? It's actually almost worth 2 big blinds per 100. That's insane. I know it's a 0 EV promotion, but it's 2 BB per 100 on top of the Rake. So what this actually means is the GG Poker's Rake is not that high. It's high, but it's not that high. What's actually killing you is this bad beat jackpot. I know it's a 0 EV promotion, but 2 big blinds per 100, that's insane in my opinion. To conclude this video, I actually think that we're getting 50% Rake back that Fish Buffet promises. And maybe it's because it's a new account, the PVI hasn't hit me yet, but I think it's clear we're actually getting close to 50% of the Rake attributed. And I've talked to some other people and they seem to be getting 50% of that as well. But what we were not taking into account is how much, and I even said this in my video, I was not sure how much this bad beat jackpot was actually taking. It says, where is it here? It says that it takes 1 big blind every time the pot is greater than 30 big blinds. And that actually is 2 BB per 100. In my opinion, that's insane for essentially a promotion that is pure luck, and hopefully over time you'll see that 2 BB back. it's crazy how hard this actually was to figure out. You would think that it would be easy. This kind of goes back to one of my points in the last video. The lack of transparency is insane, and the fact that their hand histories are a little bit different and potentially causing different trackers to show different numbers is wild to me. But we can say for certain the rake is high. It's not lower than what you thought. Is it beatable? Potentially. Maybe with the leaderboards, and if you do see the bad B jackpot, you see that 2BB come back, and you assume that your PVI is not going to be too high, you know, maybe it is beatable. Maybe the rake isn't as insane as I've made it out to be, but it's still high. And I think at the very least, we should be lobbying against this bad B jackpot. I can't see any positives to this. Maybe the recreationals really like it, but, you know, make it 1BB or a half a BB. 2BB is insane to your bottom line. Yeah, I just don't know what else to say about that. But I think that's it. I think, at least to the best of my ability, I proved that the rake is that high. I think I proved that there's a lack of transparency. I think I proved why we should be speaking up about this. And if anybody agrees, again, I would appreciate if you shared this video. I wanted to be wrong. I really did. I was actually kind of excited that the rake was a lot lower. Then I could play a lot more on WSOP and wouldn't feel as bad about it. But it's just, it's not the case, and it's unfortunate. And I hope that by spreading and sharing some of this thoughts and spreading awareness, we could, you know, potentially change things going forward. But that's it. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you agree, share. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe. Talk to you later.